Audience, the two types of audience. You'll have many occasions and purposes to write for all sorts of audiences. As a student, community member, and worker, writing is there. To be more prepared for the audiences you'll meet in the future and the occasions for writing to them, familiarize yourself with the two kinds of audience. That's right, only two: dangerous and safe. Understanding audience. As I said a moment ago, there are really only two kinds: dangerous and safe. Dangerous and safe. And we're going to spend most of our time today focusing on the dangerous type. Within that type, there are the external dangerous audience and the internal dangerous audience. We fear the dangerous audience because we believe they might judge us or our work. If you feel hesitant about writing, ask yourself if you're afraid of the internal dangerous audience or the external one. If the dangerous audience is always there, whether you're at home, whether you're working out, whether you're out hanging out with friends, it's probably the internal variety. If you can imagine what the voice of the person or persons sound like and what they look like, it's probably a case of the dangerous external audience. Some more ways to recognize the dangerous external audience. First, they're an audience that disagrees with our position, whether it's personal, political, academic. Then there's an audience that triggers academic or other trauma we've experienced. This could be real or perceived danger. An audience that's known to think less of individuals from our background. So anyone who reads the news has seen it's contentious times for all sorts of people, at least in the United States, from all sorts of backgrounds, and there's often a lack of civility and from all kinds of different audiences. So that's something to be aware of. Some more tips for recognizing a dangerous external audience. As a result of one of the previous items, feeling a lot of fear or uncertainty about how an instructor or other audience might respond to our submission. And this is where the external danger kind of meets with our internal experience. And then there's a lower quality and quantity within our writing compared to our writing for other audiences. Then there's the safe voice that it aims to please the authority figure. It differs a lot from how we might talk to friends, talk to loved ones, talk to folks who are otherwise a safe place. Here are some tips for working with a dangerous external audience. Treat them like a friend, like someone you have common ground with, because in all likelihood, there probably is some common ground. And if you want to look more into the common ground aspect of this matter, I encourage you to check into the Rogerian argument portion of our textbook. Or you can also set aside audience for the time being. While there is the general received wisdom that we should keep our audience in mind at all times, that can be very counterproductive when we're dealing with a dangerous audience. When we choose to set aside the audience as a tactic for getting into our writing, we can treat the writing task as a journal entry just for ourselves, or we can change the audience. We can write for an audience that you consider a safe place, so you can get the ideas out and then give them shape and even give them our own criticism later on. Writing fast. This is about getting the ideas down in words and then reorganizing later. That way the external critic or our perception of them doesn't have time to get into the picture. Now that we've talked about the dangerous external audience a bit, I'd like to discuss the dangerous internal audience with you. Here are some telltale signs of the dangerous internal audience. The most difficult thing about the dangerous internal audience is that it's always there. Some signs of this audience are what are termed in psychology as cognitive distortions in self-talk. Some of these include, and there are many of them, all or nothing thinking, always or never. It's also known as black and white thinking. There's ignoring the positive while magnifying the negative, minimizing the good, overgeneralization, and many more. Just as with the dangerous external audience, there's the matter of lower quantity and quality of writing. Here are some tips for working with a dangerous internal audience. First, if the negative self-talk is getting in the way of your studies or reducing your quality of life more generally, please seek support. If you're one of my ASU students, you do have access to a lot of support resources that are free. Please let me know. I'm happy to help you or connect you with the help you need to have a good quality of life. Try talking instead of writing. The negative voice we can carry around in the head tends to fade when we talk to an actual audience or pretend to. As with the dangerous internal audience, we can change the audience. If a family member, friend, or teacher is a more welcoming voice than the internal one, go toward that. Remind yourself that this is a new occasion and purpose for writing. It is not like the other occasions with other audiences. How could it be? You can do well this time. Then there's fast writing and free writing. That way our own internal voice can get blocked out, at least for a time being, by the task of getting the words out on the page. Finally, we have the safe audience. The safe audience is very much like a safe place. Such a welcoming audience encourages us. They direct us gently toward new paths we can explore as researchers, writers, and community members. They act based on permission and our best interests. So, how do we present ourselves as a safe audience? As you know, here in English 102, we have plenty of peer review assignments and discussion boards, so this is oriented toward those assignments. Steer clear of the qualities of a dangerous external audience. As I mentioned earlier, there are all sorts of reasons for contention and incivility today. Do we need to or want to be that kind of person? Or can we just recognize that different is generally only different? We can also act as a skilled improviser and say yes and to let the words and ideas flow. We can focus on the work rather than the author. And respect vulnerability. We're all writing about things we care about, and writing is very much an autobiographical extension of ourselves. So make sure that you respect that as best you can. And there's always the matter of keeping things positive at the outset before getting into more critical yet meaningful and considerate feedback. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions about audience, please let me know and I'll do my utmost to respond quickly.